Hey, what's up, guys? Brian Barrera here, CEO for LC Innovation. Man, I'm here to talk to you guys about the Dodgers. Man, it's been a few days since they won the World Series, but just so motivated by what I've been seeing. Um, yeah, it's just such a great victory, back-to-back World Series championships. But again, I'm here to talk to you guys about what I saw, and then also too about how we can translate that into business. Because once again, one thing I always talk about on my videos, which you should please subscribe to. I know I just started right now, but I'm not going to cut that because it's raw and uncut. But you should subscribe to our videos because I talk about motivation, and inspiration from sports and how we should apply that to our daily work, our departments that we work for, our companies that we work for, our companies and businesses that we own. We don't. We go out there and we go to Buffalo Wild Wings and we go to the nearest pub or wherever to watch the game, and we spend all this money on it. We buy memorabilia, jerseys, merchandise. We bet on it. We buy tickets. We do all these things. We max out our credit cards to go to a World Series. We do all these things to a World Series game. We do all these things, but we don't really learn real lessons from it that can inspire us, that inspire us, and they motivate us to do that in our businesses or in our departments or with our employees. We don't, or to better ourselves even. We don't. But yeah, right now I just want to talk about the Dodgers. You guys always hear me talking about Blue Ocean strategy, the balanced scorecard, organizational cultural assessments, OCI, organizational cultural assessment instrument. You hear me talk about the five tool employee framework, which is based off the five tool baseball player. All these things that we talk about, it's great, but the Dodgers, man, just the organization they've built, they're the first company that I've seen, first organization that I've seen in business and in sports that has really done what they've done. Once again, I talk about the balanced scorecard, and I'll wait till the end to talk more about it. But real quick snapshot: the balanced scorecard in business. Three ways to be successful in business for your organizational culture, your strategy, organizational capital, which is getting the vets, the best equipment, the most efficient equipment, paying the top dollar vets or players in their prime, engineers in their prime, salespeople in their prime. That's organizational capital, is hiring the best. Human capital is investing into young talent or people that have certain characteristics that you want in your organization, but they might not know your business. So you train them. It's human capital. It's believing in your employees, empowering your employees when you know they're not those vets or the people in their prime, the employees in their prime. Then there's information capital, technology, software, all that kind of stuff. You have to have one or the other. You have to have one or the other, right? One of the three. The Dodgers got all three. And go back to my balanced scorecard. I have a bunch of balanced scorecard videos. Subscribe and like, comment, beat me up, whatever. Let's get a discussion going. But the balanced scorecard, I have tons of videos on it in my YouTube channel. I probably got like five or six. When I talk about Bill Belichick's balanced scorecard, I'll talk about the balanced scorecards that I've built, what a balanced scorecard is. You can ask me about it, and I'll recommend Strategy Maps, the book by the creators of the balanced scorecard, which is Norton and Kaplan, I believe. Yeah, Norton and Kaplan. It's such a great book. I learned it in the Graziado Business School from Pepperdine University in the Presidents and Key Executives program. Such a great book called Strategy Maps, but it has the balanced scorecard in there. They call it the BSC. There's been so many adjustments to this scorecard that you don't even know where it originated from, but it did. It originated from Kaplan and Norton. They created the balanced scorecard, and it's an organizational, cultural, and strategic tool used to build your culture, to still build your strategy. So incredible. The Dodgers did that. Bill Belichick did that. He kind of used all three with the Patriots, but I believe his was more human capital based because of the wide receivers that he got for Brady and the defensive players he got to kind of spearhead his defense. And he built around them through the draft, through the waiver wire, through these trades or trading his players for draft picks. A lot of human capital with Belichick. The Dodgers, on the other hand, they got those three things: organizational capital, the vets, the people in their prime. Otani, they got him right in the middle of his prime. Freeman in his prime, Mookie Betts in his prime, Blake Snell in his prime, all that stuff. Then you got your farm system, right? The farm system. They've been able to build an impeccable farm system. They keep their players that they see that can really thrive, go more into the organizational capital zone. But in human capital, they have one of the best farm systems in the MLB, if not the best. Think about what they've done. Okay, California and Florida, they produce the most baseball players. California and Florida because of their weather, climate, and just the population. Such a big population. So population, big population, plus the climate makes more baseball players, right? Plus to California, there's Mexico, and then in Florida you have Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, everything that's nearby. The population, outdoors, all that stuff adds the demographics to the best baseball players, or most of the baseball players being born and raised in California or Florida. Japan has the same climate. Japan has a lot of people. Japan has been playing baseball since the late 1800s. Baseball was invented in the, I believe, mid 1800s. And I believe a student, I mean, this whole thing from Japan to the US in baseball, it's pretty gnarly. It's pretty crazy. So, Japan, I believe, found baseball through a student or a teacher that stayed in the United States and learned about baseball and brought baseball back with him to Japan in the late 1800s. I believe they're only like 40 or 50 years apart. I could be wrong on this, but I read an article on this. They're only 40, 50 years apart. So Japanese have been playing baseball. Japan has been playing baseball for a long time. And now you look at all these players in the past. Ichiro Suzuki, oh my God, Ichiro. Hideki Matsui, Hideo Nomo, all the players right now, Kurt Suzuki, all even if they're not from Japan, from Japanese ancestry, but Japanese born players that transferred over here. Um, you can say that these players that the MLB's always been with Japan. I understand that, but the Dodgers are treating Japan like it's California or Florida. To me, that's how the Dodgers are treating them. Now you have all these other teams that have been going after these Japanese players. I get it, but and it's not a blue ocean market because it's been around for so long, but they're treating it that way. I mean, they're really investing into Japanese players. It's insane how they're doing it. So you got California, you got Florida. All the teams are going after these players from these areas, from Texas too, but mostly dominated by California and Florida. But now you got Japan in the mix. They've been in the mix, but again, the Dodgers are just all over it. Do not be surprised if the Dodgers sign this guy. And everybody, Kyle Tucker, all these free agents right now, do not be surprised if they sign Munetaka Murakami this offseason. I think they're going to get him. This is the perfect player that we need. A home run threat, a guy who's going to hit bombs. He's going to get some RBIs. I don't know if he's going to get Max Muncy walks or if he's going to get Otani dingers. But this guy's going to get RBIs. He's going to get home runs. And I think we need a consistent threat like this. But anyways, yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys about the Dodgers and their organization, the balanced scorecard. So they have their farm system that we talked about. They're treating Japan like it's California and Florida. So that's the information capital part. That's the farm system. That's also human capital. Human capital, the farm system investing into your players. But then there's this article about the Dodgers and the pitching performance sciences. So you talk more about information capital. So Kershaw, I believe, found these guys back in the early 2010s. He found these guys 2012 for personal use. They helped him boost his ERA to 3.03 in 2019. Like they helped him. They helped him, keep his career going for such a long period of time. The Dodgers hired them. The Dodgers hired them after they bought this new regime, the Guggenheim Group. After they bought the Dodgers, they hired them to be an internal contract on helping them. They helped Ross Stripling. They helped some other pitchers as well. It's just crazy. Think about that. Like they have their own people, and then they hired Kershaw's group to be in-house. It's just crazy. Off-season biomechanics analysis, mechanics tweaks, injury prevention. Just crazy. I mean, this is the way they think. Kershaw, Ross Stripling, and Brandon McCarthy, amongst others. They were out of Irvine. Kershaw was seeing them every offseason, and they hired them. Think about that. I mean, think about the coaches, the managers, the owners who are like, man, we need to hire these guys. They're Kershaw's guys, but let's hire them to help our whole team out. That's why Yamamoto signed with them. That's why I started here. So I wrote it on my board. You got Max Muncy. He was cut, I believe, by the Oakland A's. He was cut. Dodgers picked him up. Miguel Rojas started with the Dodgers, was traded, I believe, in 2024. And in 2014, he was traded. Then somehow he came back to the Dodgers 10 years later. Kike was cut. I mean, it's just crazy. Mookie Betts, Red Sox didn't want to give him that big deal. They didn't want to give him that big deal, right? Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman was yeah, Freddie Freeman. They didn't want to give him his 6 years in Atlanta. Matt Olson, I believe, was next up to bat. He was the next first baseman for the Braves. I don't think they signed him. I believe they traded for him. They might have traded the year before they let Freddie go, but he was next in line from the Oakland A's. And they didn't want to give Freddie his 5 or 6 years. I think it was 6 years. It could have been five. They don't want to give him his 5 or 6 years, or the other, or it could have been they didn't want to. They gave him 5 years. They didn't want to give him six. The Dodgers did. Yeah, we'll give you 6 years. Kershaw was drafted. Look how they got that company and literally a PPS performance. What were they called again? Performance. Uh, what were they called? Pitching performance sciences, right? Got them going. Mookie Betts in his prime. That's organizational capital, but they didn't want to pay him his massive contract. Freeman 6 years. They didn't. The Braves didn't want to give him 6 years. Shohei Ohtani wanted to stay with the Angels. He offered them the same. There's an article on it. He offered them the same deal he got with the Dodgers, and they didn't want to do it. Artie Moreno didn't want to do it, so he went to the Dodgers. Look what he's done. But yeah, Walker Bueller's gone. Corey Seager's gone. They all got huge contracts to leave. Bueller got a 1 year deal with the Red Sox, but he got the money that he wanted. Corey Seager went to the Rangers. They won the World Series. Think about that too. They let Corey Seager walk. He got a World Series ring. Now they got two more after that. So talk about losing the battle but winning the war. People were like, dude, they shouldn't have got rid of Corey Seager. Okay, yeah, they shouldn't have got rid of. I love Corey Seager, great ball player. I don't like how he has his first pitch swinging quite a bit, but he got the Rangers a World Series ring. And now look, the Dodgers have won the last two in a row. Lose the battle, win the war, right? Max Muncy, um, CT3. Oh, Max Muncy just signed today, by the way. I wrote Max Muncy because he might have departed, but they just picked up his option for $10 million. Chris Taylor's gone. A lot of the players that we loved watching are gone. Jock Peterson, but well, their farm system still thrives. They still have a top 10 farm system. They use that farm system to trade for big players or for players like I just mentioned, players that are like about to get cut or whatever. They trade for these players at the deadline. So a lot of these players, they'll use some of these draft picks that they drafted, drafted players to get these players, and they sign them and they bring them back. Tommy Edman, they traded for Tommy Edman at the deadline, right, of last year. So you talk about information capital, you talk about going after the farm system and analytics and all that, and just analytics. And you talk about your human capital, investing into that system. Also, to giving the players what they want, giving Freeman that 6 year, giving Mookie that incredible contract that he got, giving Ohtani the deal that he wanted, and then in return, he huge deferral in the payments, right? $68 million a year for the 10 years after he retires. Kershaw, getting the company that he worked with, pitching performance analytics. And then you talk about the organizational capital, getting players in their prime, getting Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, the main guy, right? Look at that article. Gangster, gutsy, greatness. Yoshinobu Yamamoto authors a World Series for the ages. The best thing, what a great title. Who's this title by? By Tyler Kepner. Great, great title. But the whole thing about Yamamoto, here's what I'm trying to say. We can talk about this. Look at the payroll. Look at this article. Okay, the Dodgers are now worth $7.73 billion, including their real estate and related businesses. Okay, the club has closed the gap on the Yankees, $8.39 billion. Right, the Dodgers had $1 billion. I did a whole video, like and subscribe. I did a whole video in my YouTube channel on the Dodgers making $1 billion in revenue last year. No one believed me. They were like, no, they didn't. I was like, no, I think they did. And sure enough, now all the info is coming out where they did in total revenue for everything that they own, right? But here's the crazy part. Look at this. But the Dodgers are the Santa Claus for small markets. So we talk about the Dodgers killing baseball, right? $150 million they give back in revenue sharing. $150 million. That is crazy. The net revenue was $855 million. They give $150 million back to baseball sharing, the small market teams. Okay? All this stuff that I'm talking about is all about building your culture. They're barely on top of the Mets with $8 million in payroll last year in 2025. That's it. They're not, the Mets are spending the same amount of money, but they're just not winning. They're just not. It's just crazy. Anyways, I'm bringing all this up because I know they're going to sign this guy, Munetaka Murakami. He's going to come to LA. I'm telling you right now. It's going to be like a 12-year, $240 million deal. Watch. But the real reason I'm telling you this is because that's why Yamamoto signed with the Dodgers. Did you know that the Phillies and the Yankees, maybe the Padres too, because of Yu Darvish, he's Yamamoto's mentor. The